You're not waiting for a message. There's no notification. Nothing urgent has happened. And yet, your hand reaches for your phone. You unlock it and scroll for a moment, then put it back down. Sometimes you don't even remember what you were looking for. This happens while you're working, while you're waiting, while you're already tired. Sometimes even when you just checked it a few seconds ago. And afterward, there's that quiet question, why did I do that? This behavior isn't accidental. And it isn't a lack of self-control. There's something very human happening just beneath the surface. Most people assume they check their phone because they're bored. But boredom is only part of the story. What's really happening is that your brain is responding to a learned pattern. A loop. At some point in the past, checking your phone led to something meaningful. A message, a reply, a piece of news, a moment of connection, or just a small sense of relief, and the brain noticed. Not consciously, but chemically. Each time something rewarding appeared, the brain released dopamine, not a rush of happiness, but a signal. A signal that said, pay attention to this. This might matter again. Over time, the brain didn't just learn the reward. It learned the action that came before it. Pick up the phone. Unlock the screen. Scroll. The action itself became associated with the possibility of reward. And possibility is incredibly powerful. Here is the part most people don't realize. Dopamine is not released when you get something. It's released when you might get something. That uncertainty is what keeps the loop alive. Most of the time, nothing new is there. But occasionally, there is. And that's enough. The brain doesn't need consistency. It just needs enough unpredictability. That's why you can check your phone 10 times with nothing happening and still feel the urge to check it again. Your brain isn't searching for content. It's searching for relief. This urge often appears in specific moments. When a task feels slightly uncomfortable, when your attention starts to drift, when your emotions feel unclear, when there is a pause, the phone becomes a doorway. Not to entertainment, but to escape. A brief shift away from whatever you're feeling. The mind doesn't always want stimulation. Sometimes it just wants distance. Distance from effort, distance from uncertainty, distance from silence. And the phone offers that instantly. No preparation, no decision, no commitment, just a familiar movement. Over time, this behavior becomes automatic. You don't decide to check your phone. Your body does it for you. The hand moves before the thought arrives. That's habit conditioning. The brain has learned that checking the phone changes how you feel, even if just slightly. And even if the relief is brief, the pattern remains. What is important to understand is this. Most people who do this are not distracted by nature. They're often thoughtful, sensitive, and aware. They notice discomfort quickly, and the phone has become a way to smooth over those moments without fully processing them. There's also another layer. Checking your phone creates the feeling of movement. Something is happening. Something is updating. Something is changing, even if your own situation isn't. That sense of motion can feel reassuring, especially during moments when life feels stuck, repetitive, or emotionally heavy. The phone doesn't demand that you solve anything. It just asks you to look. But The cost of this pattern is subtle. Each time you automatically check your phone, your attention fragments, not dramatically, but gently. Focus becomes harder to sustain. Silence becomes harder to tolerate. Stillness feels unfamiliar. And when the phone is put back down, there's often a faint restlessness left behind. Not because you missed something, but because your mind never fully settled. If you want to work with this pattern instead of fighting it, the goal isn't to eliminate phone use. It's to bring awareness back into the moment of reaching. The next time you feel that urge, just pause for a second. Not to judge it or resist it, just to notice. Just to note yourself quiet now. Boredom, tension, avoidance, fatigue, uncertainty. Often, the urge softens once it's named. Another helpful shift is to change the size of the habit. Instead of endless scrolling, decide in advance. I'll check one thing, one message, one update, then stop. This gives the brain closure. The habit loop weakens when it has a clear beginning and end. It also helps to create moments where checking your phone isn't the default response, waiting in line, sitting with a thought, pausing between tasks. These moments might feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is your attention relearning how to rest. Not every gap needs to be filled. Not every pause needs a screen. This behavior doesn't mean you're addicted or unfocused or lacking discipline. It means your brain learned something very efficiently, and like all learned patterns, it can be reshaped. Gently, gradually, and without force. You don't check your phone because you're careless with your attention. You check it because your mind learned a pattern that once brought relief. And patterns don't disappear when they're judged. They change when they're understood. The next time your hand reaches for the screen, you might notice the moment instead of escaping it. Not to stop yourself, just to see it clearly. This channel looks at the small behaviors we rarely question and what they reveal about the mind. If you'd like to explore more of these patterns, you're welcome to subscribe. And if this reflection stayed with you, consider sharing it with someone who keeps checking their phone without quite knowing why. Sometimes, awareness is the first interruption in the loop. Thanks for watching.